Welcome to the second part of the object storage presentation. So we have the buckets. We've seen how to create a bucket. We have discussed a little bit about the different options in the buckets in there. So now what we can do in here, we can discuss about additional options. So after the bucket is created, we recommend by default to make it in private mode. So that means it will not be accessible by anyone. But let's say if you create a website and you want to store the photos directly in a bucket instead of the machine or something like that, anyone has a lot of different use cases for this. You can save the changes and you make that private bucket, you can make it public. So it is one of the options. Now, if you want to, let's say, to move it to a different compartment, you create a different compartment for department. Let's say you can put it as a test compartment and you want to move it to production. You can go, you can click and you change the destination and you click move resource. Now, the encryption, by default, as we said, you start with Oracle managed key, but later you can go and you can change it to the one that is created in an OCI vault. So that's another option that you're gonna have it in there. Now we talk about the parts. You've seen it, how you can copy them. These are parts that are created now because you don't want to share it anymore. You can delete it anytime. You can create another one when it's needed. In here, if you have different requests, someone is downloading something, you uploaded something, you want to see the multi-part things and so on, everything are part as a work request. You'll be able to see it into this menu. You can refresh it and you're gonna see what's happening. Now, other thing that is really important are these lifecycle policies. Okay, so with lifecycle policies, you have different options to do it. So let's say you have in here a lot of documents, and maybe you're gonna have multiple versions of that document. With the lifecycle policy, you can go and look at the latest if you're gonna select this latest version of options. What you can do at the latest object that was uploaded, the latest version of the object that was put it in there, you will be able, let's say, to apply a lifecycle action. So after, let's say, 30 days, you can move this archive, the data to archive. If you have, let's say, normal standard with infrequent access, this one will not be available because auto tiling is enabled and is doing that. This lifecycle policy is done automatically. Now, if you don't want the data after 30 days, they're not accessed and so on, you'll delete it. You also have the option to use this. In here, you can do some filtering. Let's say you have a full database and a full, let's say, object storage, a bucket with hundreds of files, and each file that you see in there, they have, let's say, maybe in front of it, they have, let's say, database underscore backup underscore custom name. So what you can put it in there, you can look at everything that has the prefix, most advanced one, an advanced one, you can go and you can create a regex in there. So if they're gonna have this in front of it, you can select, apply the pattern and so on, or you can ignore certain things that have something put it in there that is not applied for your requirement, for this lifecycle action. Now, what you can do, let's say another option that you're seeing here on the target, previous version of the objects. Okay, so that means that, let's say you uploaded 50 different files and you also want to have the latest version available, but you want to put in archive mode the older versions. Okay, so that means that you're gonna keep in the standard tier all the time the latest versions, and only the previous versions will be moved to archive, or they're gonna be deleted. And also in here, this is the one that we tried initially. We need to add something like this. We need to create a policy to for commit multi-part uploads. So that means that if you have something that let's say you upload a 1 terabyte file, at a certain point something happens, you forgot about that file, you don't need it anymore, instead of using the 500 GB that is still in there and is not used, you should use something like this that will delete it. So if you haven't did the commit for the file upload, then you should use a lifecycle policy like this. You can enable it at the level, at the root level, but when you try to create the bucket itself. But now, let's say I can try to do something like this. I can try to enable a policy. Remember, initially when we did it, when we create the bucket, it gave us an error. But right now, if we're gonna create a new bucket, yet we have already created a policy that should allow us. Okay, so I put also this one in here, it's created. Next option, replication policy. This is a very nice one because let's say from high availability and disaster recovery capability, what you can do, you can go and change different region in there. If in the other region, if we have buckets already created in there, we can select the destination bucket. So let me go to Ashburn right now. In here, I don't have any buckets here in the other region. So let's say in here, I'm going to give it the name backup. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as it is. I don't want to put anything into it. So this is the backup bucket. Now I'm going back to Frankfurt at this point. I'll go to demo bucket now, and in here I'll go to replication policy and I'll create a new policy. I will select the region again to Ashburn. Now, yeah, backup, it is already created in there, and I'll click create this. So what is gonna happen in here with this replication policy, the data that I have in Frankfurt will be replicated to Ashburn. Okay, so in here, let's replicate it. Yeah, it's not appearing. Yeah, we need to wait for it for the replication to kick off. Okay, and when this is done, if we go in here, if we go to Ashburn again, we're gonna see the bucket is in here, and after the data it is created, yeah, it will appear in here as an object. Usually it takes a few minutes, yeah, when it's done. Yeah, when this is let's say replicated first time, it needs to be running here. I think you can push it much faster, yeah, with a command, but this is not something that we want to do it at this point. Okay, now retention rules. That is another resource option that you have on a bucket. You can create a new rule in here, and this one means that we can create a retention rule that is time bound. Okay, so that means after 1 year we can delete the data that was created in there. Yeah, so it is a Part2 object individually, so it's gonna look at the object class modified. So if we have data, let's say objects that are not modified, then yeah, you can apply this, and after 1 year, yeah, you can go and delete them. Also, you can create a new retention rule. That means that you don't have no limits on the time when you're gonna put it. You create an archive, you put it in an indefinite mode, and the data will remain in there until you decide to delete it. Okay, so this is something very simple, and it is very useful for this. Okay, so last part that you see it in here, these are the uncommitted parts. So as I said, if you have bigger files, you upload it there and they're not still committed, yeah, they will appear here. After a period of time, if you do not commit it, yeah, you can also use that option to delete it automatically. Why is coming this? Yeah, all the files, let's say if you put a 1 terabyte file, okay, after all the files that were splitted in 50 GB chunks, or yeah, different, depends on exactly what is the file size. If the file is not committed, yeah, it will not appear in here in the as an object. Okay, so that is important. So that's why you'll be able to see the data when it's appearing there. Let's see, yeah, in here this was not replicated. Let me refresh it maybe. And yeah, I'm curious about the timing. Yes, so 7:46. I think it's done once per hour, so it might take a lot of sometimes to do the replication. And in here, I think it's starting right now. Let's see. Okay, not yet. Okay, so anyway, as you can see, yeah, we have this part, and this last menu that you see it in here, this is related to the events. I will talk more about the events, how you can enable them, how you can get the logs and everything that's happening in that object, yeah, when I'm gonna get into the observability part. So now logs, yeah, with logs you can click enable logs. You can enable a log, you specify the destination, and you can give it a name, and here you have the log retention. By default is 1 month, but you can go up to 6 months to keep it in the log. If you want to keep it longer, I will explain you how to move to an object storage. You had all these logs again. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed also this part, and see you on my next video. Thank you.